Surgery a month ago, so I'll try to show you guys some mechanics, but I won't be throwing. I mean, one of the main things, even working with our high school kids, they ask about arm strength and stuff like that. How do I strengthen my arm? And it starts at a young age, just playing catch, a lot of catch and playing catch the right way. So I mean, there's not necessarily, when they ask now in high school, I'd say it's kind of late to try to, really strengthen up your arm, because I think it starts just playing catch the right way when you're 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, and then continuing to play catch until you're in high school or college and stuff like that. But there's definitely some warm-up drills. You guys can see the guideline here. There's some drills that we still do in high school. I remember doing it when I went to camps when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. Yeah, it's just starting out 5 yards away with your partner. And on this drill, you're just using, it's just basically your wrist and your elbow. So you start out flicking with just your wrist, then you slowly work in with your elbow here. Don't want the kids using the shoulder yet during a throw like this. This is just to get out in front and finish your throw. We probably do 10 to 15 reps of that. And then we go 2 steps back. You're going to start out in the same position, so your front foot's going to be facing towards home. You're going to come back here, make sure your front side's facing towards home, elbows towards home. You're on top of the baseball, and you're just going to throw. Same thing, like 10 to 15 reps. And another thing too that seems super simple, but when the kids are gripping the baseball, make it as simple as possible. We want them at a young age to have the 4-seam grip on every throw. Even especially when you're playing catch, make sure the kids are playing catch like this. This is the straightest way to throw a baseball. And then in pitching and stuff, obviously there's different grips, but even with the high school kids, when we take grounders, try to get this grip out of the glove. You have that's the straightest throw to first. That's when you get the 4-seam grip. So that's kind of that's a pretty basic thing, but even at college throughout the last couple of years, if kids' balls are moving around and you're wild, you go back to how you're gripping the ball. And a lot of them are just grabbing it off. Just make sure, that's a simple thing to make sure we're doing that. And then after that, you can move back. Even more, probably 10, 15 yards apart. You're going to come here and rock back, throw. What it's doing here, this is kind of a throwing and a pitching thing. Make sure you guys are just like this. So rock forward, rock back, fall through. And it's a throwing thing, it's a pitching thing too. Making sure you're going towards your target. Using your legs, not just your arms. And here, you can stand here and just throw like that. It's not going to work. That means you're just using your arms. Just making sure the kids are using their legs. Going back, forward, front side. Make sure the kids' elbows are going towards the target too. Some kids throw like this. Some kids are two like this, moving this way. Make sure they got good, strong front side. Target. You guys coming back and ball. Probably 10 or 15 reps of that. Once you get farther back, probably go
This drill is teaching them to do
throw hop. So step into it.
also to teach them
That's the same thing as making sure that both players are moving straight towards their target, so they're not, when they're throwing, they're not coming off here, throwing like that. They're not closed off, throwing that way. Everything when they play catch should be linear. Apart. Same thing here, use 4-seam grip. Make sure the front side's strong. After that, that's basically when you loose enough to start just playing working catch. But you guys have any questions about just basic warm-up drills? That's basically it right there. Easy warm-up, play catch. Make sure that the kids know you're trying to hit your partner right in the chest every single
unfortunate that I threw my son at 13 or basketball team. I mean, you got to sit there and stare at it, fumble around for a second.
Yep.
You kind of eventually just get
Eventually, I mean, even if you're, I mean, obviously kids aren't going to have time to catch the ball, look, and then throw. But it starts when you're playing catch, and even in practice, we'll have drills where slowly you'll go into the ground ball, field it, and make sure you get that. Eventually, you're going to start feeling that. You know, it's not always going to be that way, but it's going to be bad when you start getting errant throws and stuff, and you ask how he's gripping it, and that's when kids are squeezing it like this, you know, and just throwing.
He's gripping it right and doing it right, but he's spending a little time at it.
Yep. I mean,
Get him over.
yeah, as best as you can. I mean, it's as you practice, you'll get that feeling of, because actually, like, I was a pitcher in college, and I threw just 2 seams from now on out. But I remember growing up, and I did 4 seam, and then once I started pitching, I switched. But I mean, as best as you can, that's going to put you. And you're not, like I said, you're not going to be able to do it every time. And I mean, when you're making plays on the run, you're not going to have time to think, okay, do I have the right grip right now? But as much as they can, just especially when they're playing catch, make sure they're playing catch right. So those are just basic warm-up drills and stuff like that. And a lot of the emphasis is on front side, making sure it's going towards home, pitching or playing catch. Whenever you're feeling, you know, ground ball, you're in a position to go towards your target. You're not, you know, catching it and throwing this way. Or the same thing when you're pitching. Everything's going straight towards home. So that's an emphasis too on playing catch.
Elbow up?
Elbow up, yep.
Your back elbow? Your back elbow?
Drop down. You know, the ball is going to sail or go wild or anything. It all starts with your front side where it's going towards your target.
But your elbow, you still recommend it being higher than the shoulder?
I mean, I'd probably say shoulder height.
Shoulder height?
Just as long as you're not down here or, you know, up here, just pretty basic. But so then now we'll go over some pitching drills that we did in high school and kind of growing up. I mean, the 3 major parts of pitching that I was taught, we teach here at Wayzata and then at Minnesota, is balance, direction, and extension. So when the kids are pitching, the drill that you can do is come to the pitching motion, come here and sit right here, because some kids are going to be back here, forward, some kids are going to fall forward, and some kids are going to fall back, but we actually do drills to see how long you can sit here, right here, and hold this right here. Our pitching coach in Minnesota said you should be able to eat a meal if you're really good at it. Sit here and you can move up and down. Make sure the kids aren't. It's hard sometimes when kids come to pitch, they're out of control and they're coming here or back. But the first part of pitching that we teach is the balance part. And it's the same thing even when you're out of the stretch. You're not going to come obviously to a balance point, but it's still getting to, for that split second, a balance. So you're not rushing through it or falling back. So the first one's balance. Just come here. The second one is direction. You want to make sure, I mean, ideally, when you're throwing, you want, same thing when we're playing catch, you want a straight line towards home. And the rule that I've been taught is if you're within half a foot of, if you draw a line straight towards home, and you're within half a foot of that line, it's good. Not every kid's going to be perfectly straight. The second one is balance. So balance, and then direction. This is the same thing as when you're playing catch. Your front arms, you know, pointed towards home, firm. You're not out in front here. You're still probably 75% back, 25% forward. Weight, and the last one is extension. And that's getting through and making sure that kids are going straight towards home instead of falling off the sides. Some kids throw off to the side or fall off to the right, but the main three things that they can work on is balance, direction, and the extension towards home. You can do throwing drills with your partner. You can do it off of the mound. You can just do it without throwing at all. Those are the three main parts of, I mean, simplifying pitching. And then I don't know if you guys are into like curveballs, or I don't know what age kids start throwing that. Is there like a rule, or not? There's no rule, so they can kind of start. We had, when I was younger, I think it was like 6th or 7th grade is when we started working in a changeup or a curveball, but the emphasis being with a lot of shoulder injuries and arm injuries happening earlier and earlier now, that the kids get their throwing down with their fastball and especially their changeup before, spinning curveballs and doing that other stuff. But I'd say, 6th or 7th grade, maybe start throwing curveballs. Kind of hard to say after I had shoulder surgery. Maybe I've just been doing it wrong the whole time, I guess. I don't know. But, especially, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, if they can get a fastball and a changeup, that's huge. It took me 4 years in college to figure out a changeup, so it would have been nice having that when I was younger.
What changeup do you teach?
I was taught the circle changeup. Right here, soft grip. Use your fingers, throw it just like you're throwing a fastball, but with that looser grip, and only gripping it with 3 fingers. It's naturally going to be slower than your fastball. So I'm still working on it though. I'm not a changeup guru by any means, but that's what we're taught. There are other things too, but I think that's the most basic way to throw a changeup, I guess. So, and then obviously the 4-seam fastball like we talked about, and then the 2-seam fastball. That's what I eventually threw. You don't have to throw it any different than a 4-seam. It's just the way you're gripping it. It's naturally going to move. It's going to move differently than a 4-seam. That's actually all. That's all I have as far as basics on throwing. You guys got long shots. That's, like I said, that's kind of the main way that I think myself getting arm strength growing up, it was just playing catch, long toss, and that kind of stuff. There's not really tell a kid, okay, go lift a bunch of weights. That's not, it'll get you stronger. That doesn't mean you're going to throw harder or throw it farther. I'd say as far as long toss, whatever the max distance is that they get to, I would say no more than 10 to 15 throws out at that. Because as soon as you start going over 10 or 15, there's been kids start getting tired and mechanics start going kind of to bad, and that's teaching you bad habits. So get out there. It should take long enough to get out to that distance. 10 to 15 throws, and then slowly work it back in, and that's a good throwing session. You don't have to play catch for half an hour. There's a good, I'd say 15 minutes. That's a pretty long throwing session. Depending on how far the kids throw and stuff. Even in college, we'd work up to 100 yards and back in, and it wouldn't take 15 to 20 minutes. You don't need to be out there. You don't need to kill your arm. But I'd say 10 to 15, maybe 20 throws from that distance and move back in. That's the biggest way to promote arm strength and help out, is just playing catch and catch and catch and catch. That's the safest way to do it.
Do you do that daily, would you say, or can you overdo that frequency?
I'd say you definitely can overdo it. You obviously don't want to do it every day. In high school, I probably tried doing it twice a week, maybe in college 3 times a week. But depending on game schedules and stuff in college, we had Wednesday games and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So maybe Monday, play a long toss. If you don't pitch Wednesday, throw a long toss and then get ready for the weekend. You got to still protect your arm, but I wouldn't say any more than 3 times a week.
Okay.
But yeah, you can definitely overdo it, and that's bad habits. Your arms gonna start bugging you and that stuff. But yeah, 2 or 3 times a week, I'd say.